Greetings, fam. Okay, so today's video is actually, it was inspired by one of you. A young lady sent me a message telling me that she had broken up with her boyfriend because he treated her so badly, but that she had taken him back now and that he's still treating her badly. Surprise, surprise. She even quoted what I quoted, that the leopard rarely changes its spots. So if you know that, then why would you take this man back? It reminds me of a story that I used to tell my grandkids when they were young about this little girl who went into the woods against her parents' instruction. They told her to stay out of the woods because there were snakes in the woods, and she went into the woods and she encountered a snake, and it was so beautiful, and it looked up at her and it said, would you pick me up and take me out to the other side because I'm injured, which was a lie, by the way. And she looked at the snake and she was like, you know, my parents told me snakes are dangerous. I don't think I should. And the snake said, well, look at me. Look how beautiful I am. Do I look dangerous? And I would never hurt you because if you took me out of the woods, you'd be my new friend. So the girl pondered this for a minute and she said, okay. So she picks the snake up and she proceeds to walk out of the woods, and lo and behold, by the time she gets to the clearing, the snake bites her. And so while she's lying there dying and bleeding, the snake is slithering away. And she screams after it, and she's like, hey, Mr. Snake, why did you bite me? You said you were my friend. And the snake looked back at her and said, you knew what I was when you picked me up. So, I'm saying that to say not all men are bad, but in this case, if you're writing me and telling me you took back someone that you already knew what he was, then don't be surprised when you get bitten. And I wanted to do an entire video on why I choose a new cat versus a new man. Although I wasn't in the market for a man, but I did find myself feeling kind of lonely. A lot of you know that I did cat sitting for quite a bit. But after the holidays are over, the business dies down. So all the wonderful company that I had with my cats, I even taught one how to play cards. And so, you know, I found myself missing the cats and lonely because I live alone. And so I decided to get myself a cat. And, oh, he is gorgeous. You'll see him. He's in the video. And his name was Panther. He already had a name. He was microchipped and all of that. But I thought Panther was kind of corny. Although some of you might remember that I have a panther, a stuffed panther here in the house. So how amazing is that, that I would get a cat named Panther? But I gave him the name Panther Poobah after one of my favorite old school rappers, Grand Poobah. What goes around comes back around again. Copy, copy, copy. So I like that song. I loved the rapper, even when he was with Brand Nubian. I loved him. So I named the cat after him. So his name is Panther Poobah, and I'm gonna leave you his. I already made an Instagram account for him, and so I'm gonna leave you that. And before those of you who go back to my video about spirits, where I ragged, before you rag me out about, oh, you said pet cats were bad and they carried spirits. I never said that. I said that they can pick up on the spirits of the person. So if you're in a godly household, and it's not just a cat, any pet will mimic the behavior of the household that it's in. This is why you have some cats who are strays and they're very angry and they lash out and they scratch and they bite because that's what they come from. They behave the way that from where they came from. But if you put them in a loving environment, they can, not always, but they can break out of the behavior because they realize that they're safe. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I just want to jump into the clips. So where do I begin in terms of my new cat versus a new man? Well, for one, I don't have to worry about the cat ignoring me. Now, cats will not always come to you when you call them, but if you do approach them, especially when they're in a reclined state, and you pet them, they will acknowledge. They don't ignore you. And so you don't have to beg for their attention. The other thing is that Cats are easily entertained. And so, unlike a man, it doesn't take much to get them entertained. And they're happy. They're happy for the least little entertainment that they can get. At least something as silly as chasing a laser will amuse them for hours. They're cute as heck. That's another thing that to have something around that is adorable, and it's like having a baby. And some of us oldsters, we can forget that ship has already sailed. So what's the next best thing? An adorable pet. And it doesn't have to be a cat. I just happen to like cats. One, because I don't have to walk them. And it wouldn't be bad if I didn't have the walker. But I just could see me and the walker flying down the street with a dog. Okay, the other thing is cats are drama-free. They're not nosy in everybody's business. Actually, they could care less about what others are doing. They're in their own world. But when they're not in their world, they will come to you and seek your attention. And they do it in the sweetest way. They're not demanding. And if you don't give them the attention, they'll go away and find something else that amuses them. They don't depend on you to, they're not needy. So if you don't have the time at a particular moment, they'll find another way to get what they need, the attention they need. They're very self-sufficient that way. The other thing is that in terms of self-sufficiency, is that they're very creative when it comes to having their needs met. So if you've left the house and forgot to fill the water dish, well, they'll find a way to get some water. They'll also find a way to get something that they want. Anything that they want, they'll find a way to get it. Let me just show you my guy. I know I mentioned him, and this is him in action. I actually, when he came, the guy brought him. I didn't have any cat toys in the house, so I made him this little thing because I didn't want him to have, I'm not going to get him anything that looks like a rat. Why? Because God forbid, and a lot of you know I don't like mice or rats or any type of, what do you call it, rodent, or from the rodent family. So I don't want to get up in the middle of the night. When I was sitting this one cat, one of the toys was a rodent that was so realistic looking that I had to throw it in the bag until the owner came and got the cat, because I could just see the cat playing with it and it winding up in my kitchen somewhere. And then I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom like most of us old folks do. And I see the thing and I forget it's a toy. I could just see myself having a heart attack right there. So not going to happen. I don't even like Mickey Mouse. So having said that, I made him a little toy and he loves it. He's been playing with it. So what else do I want to say in terms of cats? Oh, they are completely devoid of prejudice. They like anybody. They don't even care if you're a dog, you're another cat, humans, especially humans. They'll go to anybody. They're just full of love and they want love back. And I love that about them. They sleep 90% of the time. I thought something was wrong when I first started cat sitting because some of them would sleep up to 14 hours a day. But this is what they do. And so that, you know, aside from changing the litter box, which I'm fanatic about that because I can't deal with smells, unpleasant smells, and making sure he's fed, they're really very low maintenance. They don't require anything because most of the time they're sleeping. The other thing, and I said this in terms of humans, but the cats themselves, they come in all different breeds and colors, and they get along, unlike humans. They don't have any prejudices. And humans do. They're humans, and even in relationships, they're people that only want a type. They have their type, you know. I even had a guy tell me, I think I told you guys about this when I used to date. I dated him one time. I went on one date with Charles Oakley from the Knicks. We're going way back, like 80s. And he was a star basketball player at the time. But the point is he had a type. And he had the audacity to tell me. We were sitting at dinner on the one date that I went out with him, and we were in this restaurant called Aurora on 49th Street, some, fancy smancy. He looks across the table from me, and he says, y'all know he got that heavy country accent, so I'm going to just imitate it so you can get the full gist of how this went down. So he's looking at me, and he's like, pride of you. I only date white women and red bones. And you? Well, you just made it. What the hell? So that right there, he was telling me that I just made it in terms of his preferences. And I was insulted by that. Because those of you who know Oakley, he's black, very black, which means somebody, the mama or the daddy, was black. How dare you have a color bar that you don't cross? Have you forgotten who you were? So I said what I had to say to him and grabbed the champagne and walked out the restaurant. The maitre d' tried to stop me and tell me to leave the champagne, but Oak had already paid for it, and I figured that's the least I could do for coming out of my way and wasting my time with this coon. Okay, moving back. Cats, the other thing is they keep you laughing with their antics. And there's never a dull moment. And I love that, because who doesn't want to be entertained and happy? I find myself just smiling so much because Panther Poobah is keeping me amped. The other thing is they love you unconditionally. They don't care what you look like. When I get up in the morning, I'm not cute at all. And depending on how I slept, I could actually look pretty haggard. But you think cats care? No, they love you. They come over. They're like, hey, my girl is up. Breakfast will be on the table in a minute. And I guess my final reason for choosing cats over men is that they always become bearing gifts. May not be a gift that you want, but at least they thought of you. And so that's pretty much it. I'm going to end here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to leave Panther Poobah's Instagram link in the description box in case any of you want to check him out or follow him, because I'm going to be posting videos and pictures of him, and I'm going to teach him some tricks like I taught some of my cat guests. And so we're going to have a ball, and that's it. Father God, I thank you. I thank you for the subscribers. I thank you for my new pet who is giving me so much joy, and he just got here. I'm so happy, Lord. And Lord, it's nice. You have a sense of humor. You knew I had the stuffed panther in here, and you sent me a cat named Panther. Look at God. I promise to take care of him and to love and cherish him for as long as we're together. And Lord, you actually you hit it right on the mark, Lord, because now that he's here, I hardly ever will leave the house. And that's a good thing, because you know the wickedness that I've encountered on the other side of that door. And so thank you for sending me a friend who never complains, who never argues, and who will love me unconditionally. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for the magnificence you have done in my life. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach.